Have you ever wondered if you're truly in control of your choices? What if every decision you've ever made wasn't really yours? In his groundbreaking book Determined, Robert Sapolsky argues that free will is an illusion in the light of evidence from neuroscience and biology, and the implications could change how we live, work, and even govern our societies. Welcome back to Poetics of Success. Today we'll explore some deep ideas from Robert Sapolsky's book Determined, Life Without Free Will, and talk about how our actions might not be as free as we think, and what that means for how we take responsibility for both ourselves and others. We'll also look at how this could change the way we approach justice and fairness in society. Stick with us as we challenge some big ideas and think about how we can apply them to create better systems for personal growth and success. At Poetics of Success, we explore different insights from books, not by simply reciting their themes, but by offering a novel evaluation that helps you employ their central messages into your own journey toward change, success, and focus. But before totally losing your free will under the influence of the present book, subscribe Poetics of Success for more content that require deliberate focus and motivation. Robert Sapolsky's book explains that every action we take, every thought we have, and every decision we make is not something we freely choose. Instead, these things are shaped by a mix of our biology and our environment. For example, our genes, hormones, brain structure, and past experiences all work together in complex ways to influence what we do. Even when we feel like we're making a conscious choice, it's actually the result of all these factors coming together. This idea challenges the common belief that we have free will, meaning the ability to make choices completely independent of outside influences. If free will doesn't exist, then the way we think about responsibility and blame has to change. Instead of blaming people for their actions, especially harmful ones, we need to focus on understanding why they behave the way they do. Sapolsky suggests that we should stop seeing bad behavior as something people do because they're bad. Instead, we should look for the causes, like mental health issues, difficult life experiences, or biological factors. He believes society should focus on solutions like better education, mental health care, and social support systems to address these issues. Sapolsky also points out that the idea of free will is deeply connected to how our justice system works. Right now, the system often punishes people harshly because we assume they could have chosen to act differently. But if people don't truly have free will, punishing them for something beyond their control isn't fair. Instead, Sapolsky argues, we should focus on preventing harmful actions before they happen and helping people change through rehabilitation, not punishment. He believes we need a justice system that reflects what science tells us about human behavior, a system that is more compassionate and focused on helping people rather than just punishing them. Through these ideas, Sapolsky hopes to inspire people to think differently about human behavior and create a world that's more empathetic and fair. This idea might feel strange or uncomfortable, but it's also really important. If we don't actually have free will, can we really blame people for what they do? Instead of saying it's their fault, Sapolsky suggests we should think about the reasons behind their actions. Was it because they were struggling with mental health? Did they go through something difficult in their past? Or maybe they didn't have the same chances as others. He believes that instead of blaming people, we should try to understand what led them to act the way they did. This idea doesn't just apply to how we see others, it also helps us understand ourselves. Sometimes we blame ourselves for our mistakes or bad habits, thinking, why can't I just do better? But if we look deeper, we might see how things like stress, lack of sleep, or even our surroundings are influencing our choices. For instance, Sapolsky talks about how our environment can push us towards certain behaviors. Imagine you're trying to eat healthier, but your kitchen is filled with junk food. In this case, it's not just about willpower, it's about how your surroundings are shaping your decisions. By changing your environment, like stocking your kitchen with fruits and vegetables, you can set yourself up for better choices. Another example he gives involves habits. If someone struggles to stay motivated at work, it could be tied to burnout or lack of support, not laziness. Recognizing these causes can help you make adjustments, like finding ways to recharge or asking for help. By understanding the factors influencing your behavior, you can approach personal development with less guilt and more focus on creating systems that help you succeed. Instead of just blaming yourself for setbacks, you can work on changing what's around you to make progress easier. This idea can also help us in our own lives. If we understand that our actions are shaped by things like our past experiences or the environment around us, we can be kinder to ourselves when we make mistakes. Instead of feeling guilty or stuck, we can focus on what's influencing us and find ways to improve those influences. It's about creating a better setup for success, so we can grow and move forward with less judgment and more self-compassion. This idea also changes how we think about big systems like our courts and prisons. Right now, our justice system is based on the idea that people commit crimes because they choose to, and so we punish them to make them pay for their choices. But Sapolsky says this approach isn't fair if people's actions are actually shaped by things like their biology or the environment they grew up in. For example, he talks about cases where someone might commit a crime because of a brain injury or a mental health condition. In these situations, punishing them doesn't fix the root problem. Instead, Sapolsky believes we should focus on preventing crimes in the first place. This could mean helping people with mental health challenges, improving education, or giving people better opportunities in life so they don't end up in desperate situations. He also argues for rehabilitation, helping people change their behavior after they've done something wrong. For instance, if someone steals because they grew up in extreme poverty, the solution isn't just to put them in jail. It's to provide programs that teach job skills or offer support to break the cycle of poverty. In short, Sapolsky says we need a system that looks at why people do things, instead of just judging or punishing them. By addressing the real causes of behavior, we can build a society that's more fair and focused on helping people rather than just punishing them. First message is that our actions are shaped by biology and environment, not pure choice. This means the decisions we make and the way we act are influenced by things like our genes, hormones, brain chemistry, and the environment we grow up in, not just our willpower or intentions. For example, research shows that children who grow up in stressful or unsafe environments are more likely to struggle with emotional regulation or impulsive behavior as adults. This isn't because they're bad, but because their early experiences shaped how their brains developed. In the modern world, this idea is supported by programs like early childhood interventions. For example, initiatives like Head Start in the US provide education, nutrition, and health services to children from disadvantaged backgrounds. These programs recognize that improving a child's environment early on can help set them up for success later in life. Second lesson from the book is that in today's society, compassion and understanding should replace blame. If people's behavior is shaped by factors beyond their control, then blaming them doesn't help. It's more productive to try to understand why they acted a certain way. Take mental health, for instance. When someone struggles with depression or anxiety, they may have trouble keeping up with work or social commitments. Instead of saying, "Why can't they just snap out of it?" compassion asks, "What support do they need to feel better?" A great modern example is the shift in workplace culture around mental health. Many companies now offer mental health days or access to therapy through employee assistance programs. This change shows an understanding that people aren't lazy when they're struggling. They need support to heal and thrive. Third message from Determined is that personal and social systems should focus on prevention and support, not punishment. Sapolsky argues that instead of punishing people after something goes wrong, we should focus on preventing problems and helping people change for the better. In the justice system, for example, countries like Norway have adopted rehabilitation-focused prisons. These prisons prioritize education, skill building and therapy over harsh punishment. The result? Norway has one of the lowest reoffending rates in the world, proving that helping people rebuild their lives is more effective than locking them away in harsh conditions. On a personal level, this idea applies to how we approach habits. For instance, if you want to stop procrastinating, you can set up systems to prevent it, like using a timer to stay focused or creating a dedicated workspace. Instead of punishing yourself for being lazy, you can create an environment that supports your goals. These lessons aren't just about how we treat others, they're about how we treat ourselves too. By understanding that our actions are influenced by biology and environment, we can stop blaming ourselves for every mistake. Instead, we can focus on building systems in our lives that make success easier, just like society can create systems that help people thrive. So, what do you think about this idea? Does the thought of living without free will make you feel empowered, or does it challenge your view of how you make decisions? It might feel strange at first, but the idea that our actions are shaped by biology and our environment can actually be freeing. Instead of blaming yourself for every mistake or feeling stuck, you can start to see how your choices are influenced by things you can change, like your environment, your habits, or the support you have. If you believe that our behavior is shaped by things beyond our control, it might help you feel less guilty when things don't go as planned, and more focused on finding solutions. It's not about blaming yourself or others, it's about understanding why things happen and using that knowledge to improve. So, I'd love to hear from you. How do you think this new way of thinking could change your approach to success? Do you feel more empowered to make changes in your life, knowing that you have control over your environment and habits? Let us know in the comments below. We are really interested in hearing your thoughts. And remember, building the right systems and habits is the key to creating lasting success, whether or not free will is involved. So, let's focus on creating the environment that will help us thrive and be kind to ourselves in the process. Wishing you all wealth, success, and the power to thrive, no matter what's at work behind the scenes. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out my other content on the Poetics of Success channel for more tips on building habits and systems that lead to success.